Well, good evening. I'm State Senator Hoon-Yung Hopgood, and joined by State Representative Paul Clemente, and we're hosting this evening's Energy Town Hall. And we have a panel of guests that are joining us today that are actually going to be providing you guys with the information. So we appreciate all of you coming. They're going to give presentations, and then there's going to be an opportunity for Q&A. So we've handed out some cards. And so if you want to just write out the cards, we're going to have a Q&A session after this. But I wanted to really quickly introduce the panel. We have Julie Maher with DTE Energy, Mia Cupp with Wayne Metro, Rod Lesko with Wyandotte Municipal Services, Jim Arnosky with Wyandotte Municipal Services, Mike Byrne with the Michigan Public Service Commission, and we're also joined by Representative Kendrivis, State Representative in this area. And welcome and thank you for being here. As well as Ted McCura, Council here in the city of Wyandotte. So thank you all for coming today. I wanted to ask Representative Clemente to come and give some opening remarks as well.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you. I'm used to actually this being the other way, so that's why I'm not used to talking. Thank you, Senator, for letting me speak. You know, as you know, most of our cities and most of the people that live in our cities are, times are not as good as they used to be, and people are struggling. And one of the things that we're trying to do through this is to, address energy efficiency, address the ability of people to lower their costs overall, and that's why we have these individuals here. Plus, they can also talk a little bit about the big picture on how we're trying to become more energy efficient and a better supplier of energy as well. So, thank you for letting me be here, and I look forward to their conversations and some interesting questions after we're done. Thank you.
So Representative Clemente just, really just hit on it. The energy issues that the state and the country are facing are big issues, and we're in kind of an exciting and interesting time. But also, there's some information tonight that we think that can really help just the average person, the individual, save a couple bucks on their energy bills, and we'd like to get that information out to you as well. So without further ado, I'd like to ask Mike Byrne with the Michigan Public Service Commission to come up and talk about what is happening on their end.
Well, thank you to Senator Hopgood and Representative Clemente for the opportunity to come out tonight, and thanks to all of you for being here to discuss this important topic. Obviously, energy efficiency is something that can help folks lower energy bills and potentially savings from cost improvement that you see over time can be beneficial as well. So I want to talk a little bit tonight about the Public Service Commission, its role in energy efficiency programs in Michigan, and then some of the resources that the MPSC has available. So as you can see here, the Michigan Public Service Commission is the entity in Michigan that oversees most electric and natural gas providers, as well as telecommunications, video service providers, and some motor carriers. The mission of the commission is to grow Michigan's economy and enhance the quality of life of its communities by assuring safe and reliable energy, telecommunications, and transportation services at reasonable rates. So one of the major focus of the commissions is to administer Michigan energy law, a comprehensive package that was enacted in 2008. A major part of that law involved the transition to clean, renewable, and efficient energy. It's Public Act 295 of 2008, the Clean, Renewable, and Efficient Energy Act. And the purpose of the act is to do things in a cost-effective manner related to diversifying Michigan's generation portfolio, increasing energy security through the use of Michigan-based resources, encouraging private investment in renewable energy, and to help provide environmental benefits to the state. And so the two major components of Public Act 295 were a 10% by 2015 renewable energy standard. So that would require utilities to generate 10% of their electricity from renewable resources such as wind and solar and biomass. But also to implement energy efficiency targets for electric and natural gas providers. So essentially what that means is that electric and gas providers in the state have to implement programs that will reduce their customers' consumption by a certain amount every year. So it's 1% annually for electric companies and 0.75% annually for gas companies. So all these companies will come into the commission with a plan to tell us how they plan to achieve those goals. The commission will approve that plan, and the companies will go out and try to achieve the goals through residential and business offerings, potentially rebates for customers, educational kinds of things. And I think some of the providers are here tonight to talk in a little more detail about some of the things that they do. But those providers report annually to the PSC, and then we do a report to the governor and the legislature that talks a little bit about some of the benefits that we see. The biggest thing is that for every dollar spent on efficiency programs, customers see benefits of between $3 and $4 in avoided energy costs. So it's a good return on investment. Other benefits of the programs include electricity not being generated in Michigan due to EO programs can result in significant emission reductions. So for carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, those kinds of things aren't being emitted if energy is being saved. Additionally, cumulative reduction in customer demand can result in the deferral or reduction for the need to build new power plants. So that ends up being a savings for customers in the long run, as long as you can defer those new plants. And then there's also job and economic benefits as well for contractors who are implementing the programs, who are doing energy audits, who are installing retrofits in people's homes and businesses. So there's a lot of good stuff that happens with energy efficiency. And in fact, we're going to be working over the next year to look at how to continue to build on this success. The governor has called on energy efficiency, eliminating energy waste to be a big part of his platform in terms of energy policy in the coming months and years. And the legislature is actually looking at this as well. Senator Hopgood's on a work group that's looking at what to do with renewable energy and energy efficiency going forward. And certainly energy efficiency will only continue to play an increasing role in what we do. So that sort of gives a little bit of background on some of the policy kinds of things and where the PSC is at. But I also wanted to talk a little bit about some of the resources that the Public Service Commission has available. So this is a screenshot of the MPSC's website. You can get to the website at michigan.gov/MPSC. The resources on the site include links to utility-run programs, and as I mentioned, as Senator Hopgood pointed out, both DTE Energy and Wyandotte Municipal Services are here tonight to talk a little bit about their programs. So, but if you're curious about who your provider is or what kind of offerings are out there, you can find out sort of the portal in the green box on the left there. In the middle, there's a box that points to information for Michigan Saves. That's a public-private partnership that provides low-cost financing to individuals and businesses who are looking to make energy efficiency investments. Some of the investments, the bigger scale types of things, such as potentially installing new furnaces, installing new windows, those types of things. There might be large upfront costs that will be paid down over time, but this can help to provide low interest sources of financing for those types of improvements. And then the box on the right also is a portal that provides links to energy savers and energy tips, and I'll talk a little bit about those in a moment. The state also has websites that differ based on the season. So this is the Bee Summer-Wise website. We also have a Bee Winter-Wise website that will be rolling out in a few weeks. But both of the sites provide links to energy efficiency program tips, provide information about budget billing programs for utilities. So that's another way to try to save some money. Also, energy and weatherization assistance information, and then info on protections for military families, low income, senior citizens, and folks with special medical needs. So specific information on some of those fronts as well. And here's a screenshot of the Be Winterwise site. Also has links to the to agencies that are part of the coalition to keep Michigan warm, help to provide energy assistance and also weatherization assistance to customers in need. Another useful link, you can reach from the energy tips link on the Commission's website. It's this little book here. It's called Energy Saver. It's put out by the U.S. Department of Energy. I've also provided some hard copies over here if anyone's interested. But it's pretty comprehensive information. It talks about some of the low-hanging fruit people can do in terms of installing programmable thermostats, trying to replace light bulbs with more efficient LED or CFL kind of bulbs, lowering the thermostat in your water heater, the kinds of things that aren't high cost up front, but that can help folks save money right away. It also provides a fair amount of comprehensive information on more advanced types of projects like replacing a furnace or installing new insulation, things that may be more costly up front but can also provide long-term benefits as well. So that's a good book that I would highly recommend, available on the Commission's website and is also over here. Finally, the Commission has a number of consumer tips on its website, a lot of information spanning a lot of the responsibilities that the Commission has, not just energy efficiency, but basically all the different things that the Commission is responsible for. So if you're interested in finding out how rates are set or how to make an inquiry or a complaint with your service, a lot of those things can be found on the Commission's website. We have specific consumer tips. I brought a couple of those along tonight as well, some related to energy efficiency, home heating help, programs for senior citizens. So feel free to grab any of those and to check out the website for more information. So as I said, michigan.gov/MPSC, a lot of good info there. I'll turn it over now to Senator Hopgood, next presenter. And look forward to your questions. Thanks.
Thanks, Mike. And there's a lot of great information, a lot of great resources. Obviously, we have a table full of booklets and information, and these individuals are just great resources in themselves. So now we'd like to ask Julie Maher with DTE to come up and give a presentation on what's going on from their end.
Good evening, everybody. How are you today? Thank you for being here tonight. And I would also like to thank Senator Hopgood and Representative Clemente for inviting me. And that was a great overview that you heard from Mike on the whole reason on why I'm here tonight, and that's because of the Energy Efficiency Program. So I'm Julie Maher. I'm the Manager of Energy Efficiency Education at DTE Energy. And it's getting cold out, right? So we're here to talk about managing your heating costs. And I'm going to talk about a couple of programs that we have to help you make your home more comfortable and use less energy. So just a little more background for you first. DTE Energy really wants to help you save energy. I know it seems a little weird that we're in the energy business and we want to help you save energy, but it's true. And plus we're mandated by the legislation. So since 2009, after the legislation was put in place in October 2008, we got some programs together and implementation contractors from Michigan and launched a program in 2009, June actually. And that was essentially to help our customers lower the bills. DTE Energy invests more than $100 million in per year in energy efficiency education and programs to help our customers save energy. Through these programs, we offer rebates and things that are available to make energy efficiency more affordable. And we've helped our customers save millions of dollars since 2009. So the numbers tell the story. We have over 400,000 customers through 2013 that have participated in our programs. You can see the different types of things customers have done, but essentially we're continuing to offer these programs for as long as we are able to, and we hope to see that number grow. So you might think, how do you get started on saving energy or managing your heating costs? Well, we offer two simple ways. We have one that is the home energy consultation. It's a free audit that they'll come into the home and do some things around there to help you save energy in the home. We also have an online version. Some of you may want to go online and learn a little more before you make a commitment or have someone coming into the home. You have that option as well. And I'll talk a little bit about both of those in the next few slides. So first, the home energy consultation. As I mentioned, it's a free in-home energy consultation. Provide you with an energy assessment. It will also do an installation while the contractor's in your home. They'll provide you CFLs that they'll install for you, water heat pipe insulation. We also have pipe wrap and water aerators for your faucet and help you save water for your shower heads. We also have a list of actions that you can implement on your own. And to schedule that, you just contact us at the 800 number there listed. As I mentioned, there's also an online energy audit. Now this one is a little more comprehensive. You go into our website on dtenergy.com/myenergyanalyzer, and you'll get, once you log in, you'll get your billing history actually pulled into the system. And so it gives you a customized program, helps you build an energy profile, and it also will, once you've completed the online audit, you'll get a kit mailed to your home worth around $25 worth of energy saving improvements that are easy to install. Another program I would like to highlight is the Home Performance Program. So that's for customers who want more of a comprehensive energy efficiency look at their home. It's a whole house approach. It looks at individual things in the home and how they can work together to do more of a significant energy savings. It determines how improvements throughout a house can work together, as I mentioned. There's also, depending on how many of the improvements you make, higher rebates available. There's a variety of upgrades that you can also do on your own after the audit. Customers who perform these weatherization measures, as I mentioned, would get bonus incentives. That's also available by calling the 800 number. And I have literature in the table over there that has all of this phone number information, so if you'd like to take it at the end, you may. But just to give you a little bit more of a closer look at the types of improvements in the home performance. So there's sealing air leaks in your attic, adding attic insulation, improving the ventilation in your attic. We do the sealing of the air leaks in your basement crawl space or in your insulating your basement in the crawl space. They also look at the insulation in your exterior walls. Increase energy efficiency of your heating and cooling equipment, or recommend if you have a old, outdated piece of equipment, putting in high energy efficiency equipment. They also will replace windows if they're not efficient. Look at weather stripping around the doors, and also recommend replacement of out-of-date equipment. So how do you take advantage of that? Just simply contact, or you can call DTE Energy or go on our website and look at a participating contractor. We have an energy efficiency directory. These technicians are specially trained in our program, know how to process the paperwork and get the incentive checks for you. They're essentially going to come in, you'll get the energy audit, they'll review the findings and recommendations with you, and then decide together which energy efficient improvements you'd like to make. And that will depend on what you can afford or the payback. All of that information will be included in the report. And once the work is done, they'll submit the paperwork for you, and between 6 to 8 weeks, you'll receive the check in the mail. So as I mentioned, there's multiple measure bonuses depending on the number of improvements you make. So you can see there the 3 different levels. So that's $150 to $300 range. The next page is just a little bit more detail on the different rebates available for the different measures that are included. So you can see there's air sealing, insulation, windows, and HVAC equipment, and the different levels of rebates depending on what you put in. So as I mentioned, there's also additional standalone things you can do related to heating. We have a furnace diagnostic tune-up, and I think you'll hear a little bit more about that in a later presentation. We can get a $50 rebate for that. You know, even the best equipment needs maintenance, so that's something we recommend that you do on an annual basis. We also have furnace and boiler rebates, depending on if you're a gas-only customer or if you only have electric service from DTE. If you want to put in a ECM motor, which helps with the efficiency of the fans and the way your furnace works, that also is available for a rebate. And then simply a programmable thermostat. Any Energy Star rated programmable thermostat that you buy at such Home Depot or Lowe's, you can get a rebate for buying that. Just go online to our website, print out the application, and submit it, and you'll receive a check in the mail. So I talked a little bit about programs that you can take advantage of, but we all know that there's a little more to it than just getting new energy efficient equipment or making improvements. And so what this diagram shows, or this illustration simply shows, is all the things in your home that can determine the amount of energy you use in your home. So you have, for example, the occupant behavior, things that you do in the home, washing clothes, turning off lights, closing doors during the summer when the air conditioning's on, or during the winter when the heat's on. That's all going to impact your bill. The house shell, how tight that is sealed. Any cold air that leaks out in the summertime or warm air in the wintertime. You want to keep the cold air from leaking in and the warm air from leaking out. And also the house systems, so how efficient your systems are. All of that together will impact your bill, and the better you can control that, the better you'll control your total energy cost. So examples of that may be you are sitting in the room, you have a leaky window, and you're cold. You can put on a sweater or change rooms, right? Or you can correct the problem by turning up your thermostat. The problem is that the house shell is not efficient, and you need to correct that so that you can keep the home from losing heat. You can correct that with simple window caulk, putting plastic film over the windows, or essentially just sealing the window leaks. We do have many more programs available. I only focused on the heating programs today just because of the short amount of time we have. But if you go to our website, dtenergy.com/saveenergy, you'll see all of the different options that we have available. Some of these other website addresses I listed here are, we have an interactive home that will take you through room by room, telling you different things you can do around the house to become more energy efficient. We also have calculators, lighting calculators. We have HVAC calculators telling you the different efficiency of the equipment and how much you may save. So I encourage you to check those out. You also, as I mentioned, the My Energy Analyzer is there where you can complete the online audit, get the free kit. Even if you're going to have the home energy consultation, I encourage you to do that because you'll get another set of light bulbs and additional things in the home that you can use. As well as we have lots of how-to videos. So if you're a little more daring and you want to do caulking around the windows or put in some weather stripping, those videos can show you how to do those simple things at a low cost, easy way to do. And lastly, we do have a e-connections e-newsletter that you can sign up for if you don't already receive. That comes out monthly with information on energy efficiency programs and tips. So I encourage you to sign up for that as well. It's free. That's it. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for all the great information, and we appreciate you coming and presenting. And next we have Wyandotte Municipal Services, and of course we're in the community Wyandotte and the City Hall. We appreciate them for opening up their doors for us. Councilman, thank you. And we also are recording this on cable, so we're going to be able to show it over and over, and so if people miss things or if you have neighbors and friends who also are interested in but just not able to come tonight, they can tune in as well and get all this information. So we'd like to welcome you up and thank you for coming this evening.
If you don't mind, how many people in here are Wyandotte residents? Okay. Excellent. Well, welcome to the City of Wyandotte Council Chambers. This is a new building, a new facility. For any of you who've been to our old council chambers, you see the dramatic improvement that we have here. My name's Rod Lesko. I'm the general manager for Wyandotte Municipal Services. I've been an employee with Wyandotte Municipal for a little over 27 years. And I've served as a transmission and distribution supervisor and an electric department superintendent prior to becoming general manager. I've been general manager now for almost 2 years. And I'd also, before I really get started, I'd like to thank Senator Hopgood and Representative Clementi for inviting me to speak. I feel like this is a home game here in Wyandotte's turf. So what you'll hear is a lot of the same that the previous presenters had already talked about, and I'm going to try and put our Wyandotte spin onto things. So let me begin by giving you a brief history of Wyandotte Municipal Services. So in 1892, local residents voted to create a community-owned municipal electric utility, which initially provided only street lighting. In 1896, our municipal electric utility began serving retail customers, and for a number of years, we and the old Wyandotte Electric Company, if anybody finds a sign, I'd like to have it, we competed for local consumers. Today, Wyandotte Municipal Service is one of 41 public power systems in the state of Michigan, and one of nearly 2,000 public power systems in the United States. Our electric distribution system consists of a 69,000 volt transmission loop with 4 substations, with a 13,200 volt distribution system, and phasing out of an old 5 kV 4800 volt system, which is part of our energy optimization and becoming more efficient. And we provide street lighting to the city at no cost. One of the advantages by having our own electric distribution system, our residents have a great advantage when power outages do happen, and I'm not dissing DTE at all. Their system's much bigger than ours. But the reason for that is all of our employees, they're local, they're close, we're on call 24/7. So when that big outages happen, we're usually here right away. We don't have miles and miles to travel. So I'd like to discuss some of our current renewable energy programs, some insight into the future power production for the city, and how some of the energy saving programs that the city offers can be mutually beneficial for our customers as well as our utility. The Public Service Commission, Mike, talked about our obligation to have 10% renewable energy by 2015. Wyandotte has achieved that. One of the ways that we were able to achieve our goal was by partnering with other organizations in wind, solar, and geothermal arenas, and the use of power purchase agreements. For example, we have a PPA with Nova Consultants in the area of solar energy. Nova has designed one of the largest solar array in the state that's dedicated solely to a municipality, our municipality, and at approximately 850 kilowatts. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a start. One of the best ways and one of the best tools for shaving peak loads in hot months is solar. The hottest part of the day is when the sun's at its highest in the summer. So operating machines, boilers, generators, they're not efficient at that time of year when they're reaching their capacity. So how do you curb that? How do you curb the fuel expense? How do you curb the wear and tear on your system? Is you shave those peaks off by using solar. And we've done that, and we hope to do more. We've obtained grants that have incentivized customers to invest in their own solar arrays, which helps offset a portion of their electric bill and allows the city to purchase their solar credits as well as any excess energy. We've partnered with other organizations as well through other power purchase agreements for other sources of renewable energy created from wind, solar, and landfill gas projects, biomass, things of that nature. We've assisted customers with geothermal installations, which is an effective way to heat and cool your home. We use some of our grant funding to offset some of the capital costs involved, and right now we're currently updating this program. Another project underway is our LED streetlight conversion program. There are around 3,000 streetlights in our city, and if we can save an average of 50 watts per light, that adds up to about 650,000 kilowatt hours in energy savings annually. That equates to approximately 82 tons of coal that doesn't have to burn. In what we call our Wires 2 grant, what was originally intended to be used for installation of wind turbines in the city, because of our small footprint, there wasn't enough space to put them. So the DOE allowed us to reorganize this grant and use it toward other energy projects and on a smaller scale wind projects. And we're developing strategies on how to use that money now. We're currently investigating effective ways to eliminate coal from our power production facility, while at the same time creating a more efficient way of generating power with newer technologies. We're at the infancy of this investigation, but we are excited to be moving forward and be a better environmental partner. So I think now is a good time to talk about what we can do to help you save money in your homes. And I want to start with Public Act 295, which is the energy optimization. You saw a slide on that a little bit earlier. A small portion of your electric bill is allocated to a special fund that can be given back to the community by incentivizing customers to become more energy efficient. One of the ways that we can assist is by offering rebates for the purchase and installation of LED bulbs and certain Energy Star appliances. This is your money. Get it back through the rebate programs and enjoy the benefits through your lower utility bills. We also offer home energy audits to help our customers develop a plan on becoming more energy efficient. We can offer low interest loans to invest in energy efficient home improvements. Just a few examples on Energy Star savings: a refrigerator from the 1990s, older, average cost $179 per year to run. An Energy Star refrigerator, $57 a year to run, same size. Household 60-watt bulbs, the old incandescents, has an equivalent 10-watt LED bulb, and the beauty of that, I mean, we've all had to replace several bulbs as LED bulbs last 20 to 22 years, if you know. An estimated cost of new versus old TVs, an old cathode ray tube, 32-inch, was 328 kilowatt per year. In my house, I guarantee it's much more than that. I have 9 children. So, a new LED, I hear everybody laugh behind me. So you can see energy efficiency is a big problem in my house. Usually it's a louder, stern voice that helps. But a new LED uses 79 kilowatts per year. That's the cost of $9 per year. And these are average costs. And that all adds up. One of the toughest things for all of us to do is change our behavior. We've all heard it before, especially as children. I can still hear it in my mom's voice, shut the lights off, turn the water all the way off, close the refrigerator door, shut the front door, the air's on. And now, if you think about it, you now have more electronic equipment in your home. You have things that are considered to be vampire loads, and it's something that we're all guilty of. Cell phone chargers you leave plugged into the wall. Video game consoles that are left on because Rod Jr. doesn't want to lose his game. A cable box is often left on after the TV's turned off. These are all small things, but they all do add up. How does this all tie together, and what does it mean? Well, it's a complex puzzle, and that's something that we're all trying to work on together. Lower energy use means less fuel for the power production facility. Less fuel means lower operating costs. Less demand on the fuel lowers prices, improving operating costs even more. And steady lobes help maintain better efficiencies within boilers and generating equipment. And I think together that everyone can make a difference. It's a complete package. Everyone has to get involved. So I'd like to thank you for your time. I don't want to bore you with more slides and all that, but right now I'd like to introduce Jim Arnosky, who's our energy advisor, and he can talk in more detail about our Public Act, our energy optimization, what we offer, our home energy audits, and some of our rebates that we offer. So thank you.
Well, I work on pretty much all the energy efficiency programs here. We have a number of those. Rod did a great job kind of hitting every one of them. I'll explain a little bit more. I'm just going to kind of fly through this. I have some information over there. Definitely take some before you go. Any questions? My card is over there. Take my card. Call me tomorrow. Call me anytime. But let me just kind of fly through this right now. We do offer the free home energy audit. We've been doing that for about 3 years. Program's changed a few times during that process, during that time. We're still offering it. It's free of charge. We do rentals. We do homeowners. There's benefits to both. The renters learn what's happening in their apartments, why they're paying so much money on their electric bills, their gas bills. They don't realize how much they're paying. A lot of times their systems are very, very shoddy, and they don't know it. Homeowners, we come in also, we have a direct install program like DTE's where we come in with CFL light bulbs, shower head, and aerators. We've installed thousands of light bulbs. We've also given away thousands of the CFL light bulbs before then. So the CFLs use about 14 watts compared to 60 watts. We've also given away LED bulbs. Those are using 10 watts, so quite a savings there. And it's not much per bulb, but you add up so many 10, 15, 20 bulbs per house. 11,000 customers here, I think, in Wyandotte, 11,000 homes. And just in the city, start adding all that up, that's quite a bit of savings. So we all need to keep doing that. So the energy audit, free of charge. We come in with a blower door, we come in with thermal camera, spend an hour or 2, 3 hours if needed, depends on the home. Tell you what's going on in the house, how you can fix it, offer remedies. There's also rebates. We do talk about the DTE rebates. We also have rebates from Wyandotte for similar things. So their rebates and our rebates can be added together and be quite good savings. We're also offering 1.99% financing for energy efficiency upgrades. So air sealing, insulation, furnaces, AC, anything that saves energy like that, we can put underneath the 1.99% financing. So we've done well over 2,000 energy audits in town here. We've had hundreds and hundreds of people take advantage of upgrading their systems. In many cases, people will do a full package, insulation, furnace, air conditioning, and they find that their payment for their loan with the 1.99% financing is, they're saving more than what the loan is costing them. So they're actually making money by doing it. So it's a positive cash flow. Now, we also have rebates on appliances. DTE, I believe, have rebates on appliances for home, for residential. Since we're the electric company here in Wyandotte, we do the electric side of things. DTE does the gas side of things as far as rebates go. Energy Star refrigerators, TVs, computers, LED light bulbs, Programmable thermostats, we offer a rebate on that also. Electric water heaters, dehumidifiers, things like that. We are currently doing a very impressive rebate on televisions. We're trying to get the old televisions off the street and replace them with the Energy Star flat screen panels. The modern ones use about 6 times less energy than the old ones. So for an example, a 32-inch TV LED Energy Star uses about $6 for the entire year. Pretty impressive. The old ones use quite a bit more. I think Rod hit upon that. So we do have the residential rebates. We also have a very similar program to DTE where if you have an old refrigerator, and a lot of people have a second refrigerator in the garage, and in the summertime, that's the worst place to have a fridge because the garage is heated up. It's usually the old second fridge that's put in the garage, so it's working double hard, very inefficient. So we offer a $60 rebate. We have a company that comes out, picks it up, takes it away, recycles it, and then you get a check for $60 for doing that. Then you get the energy savings of not running that beer fridge that holds 3 beers in the summertime. Maybe 6. We also have a low-income program. Each year we give away 15 to 20 refrigerators, and it's based on income of the household, how many people live in the household, the age of the current fridge, and the goal here is to get old energy waster fridges off of the street and replace them with an Energy Star refrigerator. And this year we're doing about 25 fridges. Last year we did, I think, 15. The year before that was like 16 or 17. So very successful. Rod has already hit a lot of this stuff. So now over there you'll see a sheet like this. You're welcome to take it. This lists all of our programs on it, everything that I'm hitting today. Now we also have commercial rebates and commercial incentives. One of the programs we have on the commercial side is a direct install program. I can come out and install compact fluorescent light bulbs, LED light bulbs and exit signs, high pressure water saving air power sprayers for restaurants, and motion sensors for vending machines. We call it a vending miser. Saves about $150 per machine. It cycles the machine off and on depending on who's around, and if there's no traffic, it shuts it off. But it keeps the pop inside cold. Now that's one program for commercial. The other program is very similar to what DTE does for their commercial customers. We have rebates on lighting, heating and cooling, mainly lighting rebates. There's also for restaurants, there's efficient equipment, electric grills and things like that. If you're going to upgrade and save energy, electricity, we have a rebate for it. If it's not on a prescriptive list, we can make a custom rebate for it. So we have all these different programs going on. A lot of people don't realize we're doing so many things here in Wyandotte. We try very hard to get the word out. Oh, also, on the commercial side of things, we do also offer the 1.99% financing. So that's huge. And also if a customer wants to do solar along with a lighting project, that's part of that. You can do the 1.99% for that also. So we're trying to make it very easy for people to get more efficient, get upgraded, save some energy, and make more money. So I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. That was a whole lot more great information, and we appreciate you being here and sharing that with the attendees. And next, we'd like to call up Wayne Metro and Ms. Cupp and talk about what they do to help people save money. So, welcome.
So thanks to Senator Hopgood and Representative Clementi. These folks are actually our partners, and our organization benefits from their hard work and from their really good corporate citizenship and the hard work that they do. We're going to put the presentation up? Yes, no? No, that's okay. So I am actually a downriver girl. Now I live in Wyandotte. I work in Wyandotte. I work at the Daily Merit building between the hospital and the police station, so I feel really safe every day. Wayne Mutch was the community action agency for all of Wayne County. We were created under Lyndon Johnson's Great Society programs. We've been around for a really long time. We have about 300 staff, and kind of what we do is tie all of what these folks are trying to do, and we bring it to the people who need it most. What I can tell you is that we have a very important mission. We help to empower low-income people and strengthen communities. So when you say it's going to get cold, it is going to get cold, and energy is a need, not a want. And there are many people in our community that cannot afford this basic need. And so with the help of these folks and with some other funding sources, we are able to kind of keep some of our most vulnerable citizens kind of above water during these very hard times, but we're also able to educate them and bring them resources that they would have never accessed before. What makes us kind of really unique and why we've been so successful over the years and have grown into a $30 million organization is that our board structure brings in business leaders like these folks, elected officials like those folks, and consumers like you folks to the table to solve problems in our community that are bringing things kind of down, whether it's property values or energy issues. We bring everyone together and we work together to kind of solve these issues and make sure that everyone's voice is heard. We have this integrated service delivery model. Most of the folks that we see that come in our door do come in for utility and or rental assistance. They are in crisis, and that's that very basic need. Once we get that crisis settled, then we start talking to them about how to become more stable, whether it's through financial, through education, and then on to housing, and then on to stabilizing and probably becoming homeowners is kind of like the end game. We kind of treat each family and each individual differently. So when I'm trying to explain how we kind of do this, we're going to kind of talk about this like fictitious family, the Wayne family. They live in Wayne County. There's a mom, there's a dad, there's 2 kids. He came home. He's honorably discharged from, say, the Army. She's had some illnesses. They are one day, they're housed, they're employed, they're healthy, they have insurance. Some things happen. He loses his job. She gets sick and has an extended hospital stay. What's going to happen? They're employed now. Unemployed. They're basically homeless. The utilities have been shut off. Their credit is bruised, and they've pretty much exhausted every other kind of resource, family, friends. They've gone through it all. So what would you say to this family? Where would you tell them to call? Where would they turn? They would call us. They would call our call center, and Carol has the cards. They're on the table. You'd call the call center like 10,000 people did in the month of January of 2014 to get the help that they are eligible for. And because there's so many different pots of money, and because there's so many different resources and so many entities working together, we can kind of pool money, we can move things around to make sure that people, our neighbors and our friends and our family, don't go without. Wayne County is a really great place, but we know that we've seen our struggles recently and we're rebounding, but there's still a lot of people who need help. So the Waynes. Come on, Waynes. I think I'm stuck. So the Waynes would call one of our 10, can I just click? They call one of our 10 full-time information referral specialists. We get some background information on the Waynes, and they would come in to see one of our direct service specialists. Uh-oh. Now it's given me a hit next. Up here? Why can't I see? Okay, next. Yay. Okay. So what we find is when we ask the Waynes, hey, what's going on? We find they need a place to live. They want to remain together as a family. They don't want to be split up. They need help finding employment. We find out what his skill set was, maybe what he did in the military. We find out that they have, DTE, they do have this gigantic DTE bill. It's $2,500, and DTE won't turn it back on until they bring some of that arrears down. We want to keep Max in this school that he has been in. We don't, during their time of homelessness, we don't want Max to have to kind of switch schools and disrupt his life. We need to get Marley, we've named her, into preschool, and we want them to have access to food, clothing, and shelter. So week 1, we're going to put them in a hotel because there's not room in any shelters nearby. And that is kind of like the week where they can kind of chill out and decide what the next step is going to be. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put them in the Wayne County Family Center. Does anyone know where that exists? It's the only homeless shelter in Wayne County that allows moms and dads and families to remain together as a unit. Other shelters split them apart. The men go one place, the women and the children go in another place. So thankfully the Waynes get to go. There's 30 dormitories that these families get to stay in, and they get to stay in there for up to 2 years if that's what they need to be there for. While they're at the family center, while they're homeless, we're providing some before and after school care for the kids so they can kind of escape that state of homelessness. They can get help with their homework. They can play video games. They can read books. They can go on field trips. And mom and dad, they could be going to school. They could be in employment and training. They have to be working during their stay. And that little trailer there is right next door to where the old Eloise building is, and that's where we program out of for these families. We make sure they have enough money to go on field trips, et cetera, et cetera. So, come on, dude. This mouse is a little tricky. Okay, maybe this guy's gonna start working again. No. Okay. So again, while they're in, Dad decides he wants to go back and get retrained. We can help him with the resume. We can help him with some skills. We can help him get hooked up with an employer that maybe would be willing to give him a chance to kind of brush up on those skills while we provide him a stipend. We make sure that the family is enrolled in health care options that they're available. I mean, that they're eligible for. We have certified, healthcare navigators. Thank you. A lot of the folks that we work with, they are not, I would say, literate. So, expecting them to go onto the computer and navigate that healthcare marketplace is quite a lot to ask. So we make sure that they get the healthcare that they are eligible for and that the kids are well taken care of during this time. So right about month 5, month 6, let's say they're ready. He's got a job. They're ready to kind of move into some transitional housing. We're helping them with the food pantry. We've hooked them up with the local food pantry. So their commodity foods or some of their food subsidies that they get, and they don't stretch far enough, we can help them with that too. We're starting to talk to them now about energy efficiency, and that's where this kind of comes in. We're helping them to read their bills. We're helping them to understand what their consumption should be. If they decide that they want to, here we go again. If they decide they want to move into an older home, if they want to move into a newer home, if they're going to be an apartment, depending on what it is, we want to make sure that they understand what they're getting into in terms of their household budget. And energy is always at the top of that list. Because what happens is, they get into this house, and like these folks said back here, it's not energy efficient, and that bill keeps creeping up month after month after month. So that home in the middle there is a home that we actually did an acquisition resale in the city of Ecorse. It was a blighted property. We ripped everything out. We put high efficiency, everything in there, redid the whole thing, took the worst house on the best block and made it into a home where someone could move into and not have to worry about all of those energy issues. So that's like another thing that we do. Weatherization and energy education. We administer DTE's Test and Tune program. We administer the refrigerator program. We partner with the city of Wyandotte on the refrigerator program. We receive millions of dollars a year from the Michigan Public Service Commission, and DTE gave us our largest corporate donation to date last year of $500,000. And those monies are used to provide direct assistance to people who fall behind on their bills. They have to be income eligible. What we do, though, is we make them take classes on financial coaching, classes on energy efficiency. So not to repeat those same behaviors over and over again, but to become informed consumers. And we also take a look, we don't do the weatherization program here downriver. Our friends at Downriver Community Conference do that, but we do Hamtramck, Highland Park, the Points, and all of the city of Detroit. And do, what's that? Nope, we don't do Western Wayne, I wish. So when you think about the future Wayne families now, after we've taken them through this maybe 1 to 2 year process, they own a home, they have stable employment, the kids are doing well in school, they're taxpayers, there's civic involvement going on, and they're living well. But that energy is kind of that energy issue is what brought them into the door, and what caused their homelessness is because you can't live in a home without heat. We also do a ton of education and learning. We run before and after school programs. We do GED programs. We do family literacy programs. So as you can see, trying to explain to people what we do is sometimes often difficult. Now, when the Waynes get to the point where they're stabilized, they're working, we want to start talking to them about saving and planning for their future and not doing their taxes at a place that's going to charge them $200, but coming to us where we're kind of looking out for them, and not to spend their money right then and there because they've wanted to go on vacation, but to kind of start putting some things away and saving for the kids and for a rainy day and when things happen like that. So when we get people to this point, this financial empowerment point, they're ready to leave us, and they have all the tools and all of the knowledge, and we've taken them through all of these steps, this empowerment pathway to get them successful. So, we have expanded into the city of Detroit. It's been a whirlwind. I can tell you that we were out county for the last 20 years, moving into the city, huge challenge, way different problems, but we've been welcomed with open arms, and we're doing really good work to replicate what we've been able to do here in Out County to help the city. We are also, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but when we build things and when we tear things down, we also want to make sure that they're energy efficient. So any home that we build, any development that we build, we are also a builder, a community builder and developer. So if you guys remember the old Lincoln Park Theater, okay, you know what that kind of looked like for the last few years. We won't say what it was, but it wasn't a good place for the community. We actually were the recipients in a lawsuit, and the city of Lincoln Park won that lawsuit, thank goodness. The building is now off someplace in an industrial park, and I think on November 12th, the loft apartments, Lincoln Park lofts, will be done. We took the Lincoln Park Theater and adapted it into 12 loft-style apartments. We are restoring the theater front to 2 spaces of retail here. So this will all be lit up, and it'll look really kind of cool when we're done. So economic and community development. It's a 5-star green initiative, meaning it's energy efficient. And then we also purchased some land next to AutoZone and put 26 more units here. So permanent, affordable housing, in addition to retail and in addition to kind of blight removal and historical preservation. So when you think about a community organization that's grassroots, that's doing what we're supposed to be doing and kind of building the community back up, one kind of building and one family at a time, that's what we do. I do want to invite you to the 2015 Walk for Warmth. These funds are raised to kind of help those individuals who are above, who still are in need, but happen to be kind of above that threshold of poverty. Last year we raised $190,000. That was the first year I think we've gone over $50,000 ever. So we pretty much tripled our earnings. So you can go out on the field, you can kick a field goal, you can go in the locker rooms. Hopefully there'll be some lions there. And you just have to bring $25 or more. There's no cap on how much you can bring, but we'd love to have you. Does anyone, oh no, we're going to do questions from up there, right? Okay, thanks a lot, guys.
Well, thank all of you for being here. We appreciate having you, and we have a few questions, if you don't mind. I guess first of all, I'd like to make a couple statements. First one to Rod. With 9 kids, I constantly have to remind my kids that I am not the owner of Detroit Edison. So, I'm sure you have difficulty, handling that with your kids as well.
I tell them I'm not going to get a paycheck that week. I'm giving it back to the city.
But I guess the first thing I'd like to say is, we're really fortunate as a state to be able to have large Fortune 500 companies like Detroit Edison and Consumers Power, to basically address a lot of these issues associated with energy efficiency and renewable energy and things along those lines. A lot of states don't have these large companies that can make that kind of investment and not really bet the whole company on a single piece of technology. They have the ability to do extra. So we're fortunate to have them, and we're fortunate to have our city and municipal worker generation as well, because that's kind of a smaller. They can do smaller experiments in terms of what energy is the best to generate at a city by city level. So I guess the first thing I'll say is I received not one question, but a thought that said, thank you. I can't wait to take advantage of the programs, both residential and commercial. So you all were given kudos on that. And I guess the first question I'd like to ask relates to, this is specifically to Wyandotte, which is what percentage of energy does the Wyandotte Municipal Facility generate? And how much does Wyandotte buy off the grid?
That's a tricky question. I can tell you, 10 years ago, our business plan and our business model was completely different than it is today. Energy market prices were pretty high at the time over the tie lines, over like ITC, the transmission lines. So what we had done is we were generating as much as we possibly could because we were making sales over that tie line, and our excess steam from generating would go to Wyandotte Hospital for heat and to BASF. Well, that business model and that plan has changed quite a bit. So now we purchase most of our electricity over our interconnection, and because we're part of the MPPA, which takes all 41 municipalities in the state of Michigan and it clumps us all together so we have more buying power. We're able to get a much lower rate. So essentially, right now, it's in most aspects, it's cheaper for us to purchase in the summer. We do generate to shave some of the peaks and some of the market conditions, because watching the energy rate is much like watching the stock market ticker. You really have to know what the day ahead is. You have to really monitor it closely so that you know where your break-even points are. So for probably the last 2 or 3 years, we were generating anywhere from 10 to 15 megawatts and purchasing the rest, while becoming more of a steam provider with electric generation as the byproduct. I hope that answers your question.
If you don't mind, I'll just give, there were two questions as part of this. When you do generate energy, what are the primary fuels that you use?
Well, we have one boiler that is a fluidized bed boiler, and it is coal-fired, and we offset some of that with shredded tires, which actually burns a little bit cleaner than just all coal. We have another unit that was a pulverized coal boiler that we've converted to natural gas. That's been our workhorse. We have hardly burned any coal in the last 2 years. We've been burning mainly natural gas.
If you don't mind, I have a question as it relates
Sure.
to that. From an efficiency perspective, what is the conversion rate on your coal to energy versus natural gas to energy on your boilers? Are they similar, or?
Well, they're not apples to apples. The fluidized bed boiler is much more efficient on coal. It really is. But gas prices have been very cheap, and because of our steam generation for BASF, a fluidized bed boiler really can't handle the swings in steam consumption like our other boiler can. So that's the tricky part of operating and finding those trigger points is to, if you have a quick burst that's coming out of a boiler and you can't maintain your pressure on your top header, especially on that particular fluidized bed, it changes the conditions in the combustion chamber, which can cause some problems. So it was just easier to run it on our gas boiler. But because we were running them so low, the effective efficiencies between the two, it really didn't matter.
Thank you. The next question we have, it relates to energy efficient bulbs, and I guess I have a little side story as it relates to the use of LEDs and CFLs. Historically, we've always had incandescent lights in our street lights, and as we slowly converted, this happened a few years back, as we converted to having LEDs in these street lights, something interesting happened. During the winter, when I was younger, you never saw snow on a street light. And what happened is that as they put in LEDs, they became so much more efficient, and they didn't generate the kind of heat that was needed to melt the snow off of them. So we've actually had to put, in some cases, we had to put heaters on our lights because the lights themselves weren't generating electricity. So the engineers went back to look at the designs, and the actually engineers from back in the 40s and 50s actually designed that heat as part of the plan to keep these things clear of snow and ice during the winter. So this talks to a little bit of the unintended consequences of new technology. So the question that we have here relates to CFL bulbs, and what the question is that when CFL bulbs are going outside in lanterns and in garages, they don't seem to work. They don't seem to turn on. Is there an issue with CFL bulbs as it relates to external weather? I'm not. Whoever would like to take a shot at that.
Go ahead, Jim.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Technically, I don't know why that is, but it's a common issue with fluorescents. I think that's true also with the 4-foot fluorescents that we've known for 100 years now. So outdoors, in the winter, the CFL will reach full brightness. It just takes longer. So in my house, in my case, my front porch, I leave it on every night. In the winter, I turn it on, and it starts off very dim. In a little bit of time, it's full brightness, and I leave it on all night. If it's a light where I need to turn it on and turn it off quite often outside, I'd probably go with an LED right now. The LEDs are at a point now, the price point's there, the rebates are available. 5 years ago, I probably would have used an incandescent because it was cheap, it was instant on, instant off. But now with LED technology, they're not affected by the cold. So
Add to that, the majority of CFLs do take time to warm up, but there's newer CFLs out there that are called instant on technology. They do cost a little bit more, but you don't see that warm up time even outside. I actually have them in my garage. In the winter, I turn them on. They're at full brightness the second I turn them on.
Thank you. Next question talks about, it talks about two things. One is, in the, you know, in the weatherization and efficiency law, does that also include not just heat and efficiency, but does that include also the humidity, you know, humidification and things along those lines inside the house, or is that something that's separate that's not included?
From a weatherization perspective, it's an energy efficiency program. So when you think about, can you guys hear me? Okay. Things like weather stripping on windows, things like blowing insulations in attics. We do blow tests around door frames. We have done where attic, you know, like when those like pull down attic things, they're, you know, they leak a lot of energy. We have done furnace replacements before. Humidity is not really a concern. It's the energy measures that are going to that drive the weatherization program. Humidity is not one of them.
I'm sorry to keep jumping in, but there's a direct correlation between weatherization and the humidity in your home. In the wintertime, a leaky house, the humidity is finding every little nook and cranny and trying to escape out of your home. Because the outdoor air is really dry, the indoor air is typically more moist, so wet always goes to dry is kind of the science rule of thumb there. So when you seal the house up, you require less generated humidity from your HVAC systems. Things like just you in your home. The average human emits about 10 pounds of humidity a day. Cooking emits humidity. When you shower, there's more humidity. So a tighter house will raise the humidity levels in your home.
As it relates to insulation and the R factor in the installation, is that information, the insulation in a house, is that included? Like, has that been permitted as part of the house building? Is there any place where people could find records on what insulation, what R factor is in any particular house? Or is that recorded anywhere in, let's say, city or state files?
What my understanding is that there are some standard. If you go when a home was built, then you know there are some standards from those years that would have, you know, said if you have never gotten it re-insulated or blown in or have done any insulation, this is what you've got. But typically when we go in, we'll do an assessment of all of those things. So you don't really kind of have to worry about how much is there now. What you want to worry about is how much you're going to need in order to reach your optimal energy point.
An additional question to this is, you know, these blower door tests and things along those lines, are they costly to the individual, or are these paid through the public-private partnership? I mean, do the individuals that have these tests, is there a fee associated with those as well?
I'm going to take that one.
You take that one.
I know that the Save a Lot Wyandotte program, Jim mentioned that it's free to Wyandotte residents. Right now, there's a program through Michigan Saves. The website's michigansaves.org, Michigan spelled out, where contractors have agreed to perform that service for $99 for, I'm not sure if it's a limited time or not, but the average price for that, industry average price typically ranges from about $250 to $400 depending on the size of your home.
And for the weatherization program, which is a federally funded program that you must reach the federal poverty guideline, all of those services are free to the homeowner and or renter of the home. They come with no cost.
And then I guess this is a question we're getting a lot of in our offices, and I'm going to just try to address it specifically as it relates to the energy savings. And what it is, it's do we see smart meters as being some type of conduit to helping improve energy costs and reduce energy usage at houses. I mean, how do smart meters fit into that into this idea of efficiency and effectiveness in terms of how we use energy in our homes?
I can take that. So essentially, the smart meter itself isn't saving you energy. It's a better way of measuring it. And it gives you the ability to connect devices to it. So, for example, DTE Energy has a mobile app, DTE Insight. You can download that and you can see the energy usage on a 24-hour basis. And you can get that real time with some additional advices. In the future, we may offer devices that you can connect to your appliances and you can turn them on and off and manage them through your mobile app. So the smart meter is essentially put in place to help the utility companies do a better job at being more efficient at reading the meters. They're more accurate, but it's not a energy saving component. But it gives you the infrastructure to use it that way with the information you receive.
Often, if I could just make a point on top of that, often, like with high bill complaints or whatever, I mean, it's impossible for me to know what's going on inside someone's home, but we can track the consumption with a smart meter, and eventually Wyandotte will have it so they can track themselves. They can go on and take a look at their consumption for the day by the hour to see what was going on. They know what's going on. A customer knows what's going on in their home. Why was there so much consumption? What did I turn on? What's on? And they'll start looking for it, and they're able to turn it off. Could be a space heater, electric space heater. Those aren't exactly friendly to your electric bill. Those types of things. And sometimes people will turn them on and they'll forget, and then by the end of the month, they're really disappointed.
One more little piece to that too. The smart meters are conduit towards additional savings. Consumers Energy ran a small pilot in Michigan where the smart meters are able to actually talk to your Wi-Fi enabled smart thermostats.
Right.
So they ran these what's called demand response events or peak load events where typically in the summertime everyone's got their AC running, demand for electricity is really high. Individuals agreed to let consumers shut down their air conditioner compressor for a couple hours. And really, the average homeowner doesn't see any impact from that whatsoever because most of the time when that shutdown occurs, they're at work. By the time they're heading home from work, their air kicks back on and they get home and their home is nice and cool and they never knew what happened. But DTE didn't have the load issue problems during those peak load times, and then actually you save money out of it. There's a number of well-known programs that ran in Texas and California where the energy savings from those programs were tremendous.
Okay, well, that's the last of the questions. Does anyone have any others they'd like? Yes, please.
You twisted my question around a little bit about the CFL outside.
Oh, okay. Did I? Yes. Okay.
I put a CFL, my lantern, outside of my garage, and my garage door would not open up when that light was turned on. I figured out the wire, something's bad, this and that, and during the day it worked fine. But when I turned that light on at night, the garage door opener would not work. Anybody heard of anything?
That sounds like
That's
a
like a
wiring
wire
Sounds like a
issue.
wiring issue.
You gotta call your electrician.
Oh, regular bulb works fine.
Weird.
I know.
Is there a photo sensor involved?
No.
Is the light bulb actually in the garage door opener unit?
No. It's on the lantern on the outside of the garage.
No, I've not heard of that one.
I know, it was, and I didn't know what was going on, I checked all the wires and everything, but today it worked fine.
Did you try replacing it with another CFL?
No, I didn't. I just,
You were
I've
just
got a
leaving
most
water.
in my house, I love the CFL, but I just thought that was kind of strange. They come out the spring and put in my smart meter, but why are they not, the technology's not hooked up yet to get that data off the meters? Because they still come out and read my meter. I live in Taylor.
You live in Taylor. So there are some meters that, so they're doing electric and gas separate. So it may be that they're coming out to read your gas meter and not your electric meter.
No, I've seen them come behind the house to read the electric.
Okay. There are some areas where there is still other infrastructure that needs to be built out.
And also, why is there so much negative stuff on the internet and everything about these smart meters. Some places are outlawing them, some countries have outlawed them because of the radiation coming off them. They've actually designed covers to go over these. People are getting sick from them and everything. How much of this is myth and how much is true?
So I can tell you that the smart meters that DTE Energy has installed in the homes are completely safe. They have less radio frequency than what you use from your cell phone. In fact, 1,100 times less. We're working, to be sure that all of the meters that we've put in fact, we've put over 2 million meters in to date, and essentially haven't had any problems related to them. Our technicians are trained technicians, very highly knowledgeable of how to put in the AMI meters, and a lot of what you hear is scare tactics. There's sometimes people just like to talk about something and have something to talk about, and people will listen when it's scary topic, like put in a new meter and your house is going to catch on fire, and it gets people's attention. But
One just last week about a fire that was started by the meter.
so most of the stories that you hear, once the investigation is finished, it's not even related to the AMI meter. So there's lots of
I totally concur with what she's saying. I was part of an EMF study, electromagnetic field, here in Wyandotte quite a few years ago, and to where you look like a ghost hunter. You're walking around the house trying to see where you're picking up these electromagnetic fields. So you walk by your microwave when it's on. You walk by one of the highest emitters in anybody's home, and they are not aware of this, is their doorbell transformer. It's terrible. Way more than a meter. The AMI meters, it's really no different than your wireless cable modem. These are much, much worse. So they're calling you, telling you, hey, my meter's causing me headaches. Well, they're talking to you on a cell phone that it's putting off more of that than that electric meter ever will.
You mentioned something about cable boxes, and I know there's been a lot of talk about cable boxes eating up a lot of energy. How do you know if your cable boxes, I have AT&T Uverse, so I have to keep one on for my Wi-Fi, but I have 2 other boxes. Should I be putting those on timers, or?
Really,
We have, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
They have smart strips out there that are timer based. So you can program it so that when you go to bed, when you're sleeping, you're not using your internet. So you can completely power your modem and everything down and have it programmed so that when you wake up, it kicks on, because your cable box takes, 5 to 10 minutes to reboot now. So program it, right when you get up, right before you get up, so everything reboots and you're not even the wiser. They're Lowe's, I saw them at Lowe's, they're about $15. Literally, they have little timers on them that if you go to bed at 9:30, at 10 o'clock, it'll completely power everything down that's plugged into it and then fire back up for whatever time you set it for.
Is there, I know that cable companies are trying to make them more energy efficient. Is there,
The boxes have become a lot more efficient over the years, but somebody up there alluded to some of the vampire electrical usage, and it's true with I'm chasing my kids around the house all the time with power too, and they typically shut the TV off. The cable box is still left on, but my kids do have the timer strips in their room, so when they conk out, everything shuts off, whether they've done it or not.
and is that going to be do you foresee that as being a large savings?
It's a huge, huge savings. It's not something you're going to look at your bill and go, oh my God, wow, I saved $100 by shutting my cable box off.
No.
But over the course of a year, when you start unplugging your cell phone chargers and putting smart strips in to power everything down, you will see a significant savings.
Well, it's a combination of everything that we talked about that optimizes your energy bill. It's not, everything adds up. Little bits add up to the lot.
Correct.
And that's what we're all striving for.
Yes.
I just have a question that I have not heard anything about how much energy we are saving since all the GM plants are down and all the steel plants are down. We lost a lot of industry in our community. And so aren't we saving a lot of energy because they aren't working anymore? Or is, you never hear anything about that. It's just let's conserve energy. But what happened to all of that energy? We saving more than a lot of states.
I think in Cranes a few weeks ago, and I'll ask DT to corroborate this, but in Cranes a few weeks ago, they were talking about a number of power plants that are actually they're going to be going dark here over the next number of years. And some will be converted into natural gas, but maybe, would you mind talking about that a little bit?
I can talk to as much as I know, because I'm not certainly the expert, but essentially it goes into the grid, and it's not one area or one one plant goes down and we're saving a lot of energy. There's other things that are coming up in other areas that it's a give and take type relationship. So as you mentioned, over the course of the next few years, we will be closing some of our power plants, and we will be doing more coal-fired plants. And it's all because of, it's not a one-line answer. It's fuel cost and the requirements of emissions and requirements of meeting energy efficiency saving guidelines. It's all of that into play. So it does look like we are, using less energy across the state, but that just means our legislation's working and we're doing the right things and meeting those goals.
Often that energy is displaced as well. Where something closes, you have developments in other places that are
Correct.
absorbing some of that.
From a fossil fuel perspective, it strikes me, is the mix of coal versus natural gas changing let's say for DTE? I mean, are you becoming more using more natural gas in your generation than you have in the past, or do you plan on doing that in the future?
We do plan on doing that. We also look for ways of using more environmentally the blends of coal, but it's always dependent on the markets and what's best for our customers.
I guess I have one other question. There was an article some time ago that talked about cogeneration using coal and natural gas in the same battery, I guess. Is there any thought about that where you can gain the benefits of the power generation of coal, but utilize the, I guess, relative cleanness of natural gas in the same generation? Is that something that has a possibility, or is that something that was just kind of a speculation?
At one time, cogeneration was a viable option. I think that when you weigh the infrastructure costs for building that type of a facility against other types of infrastructure, the cost is outweighed by just converting to natural gas.
It's a matter of capital cost versus payback, really.
Right.
Any other questions? Sir?
DTE, what's going on with Repo permitting? Are they going to expand it, or do you know what's going on? I grew up in Monroe County, still got a lot of family there. I know they're all up in arms about them wanting to expand the permitting plan.
I'll tell you, I don't think that will happen. We are always keeping our options open. We have gone through the licensing process, but right now to build another nuclear plant, it's just not the most cost-effective option.
I know my parents are going to have the iodine tablets.
Yes. That's part of our emergency preparedness plan. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Senator, you'd like to wrap it up? I'd just like to bring up Senator Hopgood to wrap everything up for us today.
Well, I wanted to thank Representative Clemente for doing the Q&A. He's an inquisitive mind, and he did a wonderful job with that. Really want to thank our panelists for coming today and providing all this great information. I want to encourage people to use it. I mean, you can really save some money. You can do some things that help out the community, help out the environment, but again, it kind of comes back to your bottom line as well. So it's really worth checking into. And of course, City of Wyandotte and all the residents, thank you for coming out to this. It was an enjoyable forum for me, and I hope you all learned something and got something that you can take and maybe pass to a neighbor or a friend or a family member or whatnot. So thank you all for coming, and we'll stick around for a couple minutes. Please feel free to grab something on the way out, a snack for maybe later or tomorrow morning. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.